Hey everyone, in today's tutorial I'm showing you one of the ways that I would do eye makeup on hooded eyes. Now I don't have hooded eyes, nor could I get a model with hooded eyes, so you'll just have to bear with me while I do my best to explain and demonstrate the tips and tricks on my own eye shape. I wanted to do this video because I always get asked about makeup techniques for hooded eyes, so I couldn't not do anything about it. Hopefully you'll still find the video beneficial, and now let's get started. The first thing I want you to do is prime, and prime some more. It doesn't matter what steps you take or how good your makeup looks, if you don't prime, it won't be looking good for long. This goes for all eye shapes, but in particular hooded eyes. Due to how the skin folds, there's a higher risk of the eyeshadow or liner smudging and creasing. Use whatever primer you have available to you. I'm using the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. It's one of my favourites for priming, and it's great for oily lids in particular because it's of a drier consistency. Despite that though, I still set it with a powder, and if my lids are a little on the dry side, I'll use a very light dusting instead, but I do feel that you need a little powder on top to set it in place, and it'll make the eyeshadows to come go on more smoothly. Next, I would suggest to wing the shadows outwards opposed to rounding them. Here's an example of where I've rounded my eyeshadows, and here is an example of a winged out eyeshadow look. Basically, you want to pull the eyeshadows outwards, use the tail of your brow as a guide, and in doing this, you're going to lift the eyes. If you've got hooded eyes, matte eyeshadows are your best friend, so that's what I'm working with today. I'm now taking some more of that matte brown that I used a minute ago and I'm applying it into the crease. A lot of people with hooded eyes won't have a prominent crease, so if that's you, apply a little of this shadow above the lid on that fleshy bit of skin that's folding down and covering your lid. The reason why I'm not using a shimmery shade on this area is because I don't want to highlight it, I just want to add some depth instead. I'd also suggest to blend your eyeshadow only halfway across the crease. Keep the inner half or the inner third nice and light and bright. As you can see, I'm still building the colour in the crease. I haven't touched the lid yet, although I will be sweeping some colour on the lid in a second, but I'd suggest not to put the focus on the lid. Focus the colour above the lid where it'll stand out, and that's why cut crease looks are great for hooded eyes, and I've 2 tutorials on that technique and I'll leave them linked below. Now I'm taking a cranberry eyeshadow and I'm applying this in the same way that I did with the brown. Apply the eyeshadow with your eye open. You don't want to spend lots of time laying down shadow and perfecting your smoky look to not be able to see all your lovely work when your eyes are open, so that's why that step's important. On a similar note, and it may sound odd, but try relax your face when you're doing your makeup. So for instance, try not to raise your eyebrows while working on the eye area, because as soon as you relax your face, it's going to drop, and your work is then going to look slightly different. I'm still blending now, it's a process, it does take a little time, but it's worth it in the end. I'm building up the intensity as I go, and I'm making sure to pull the colour outwards to elongate the eyes. I'm taking a matte white eyeshadow now, just to clean up that outer edge. I like it quite precise and defined, but if you wanted a softer look, you could skip this step completely. Next, I'm applying a satin eyeshadow to underneath the arch to lift that area. I'm going with a satin opposed to a shimmer because I only want to lightly highlight the area. Keep it as close to the brow as possible and nowhere near the hood, otherwise it'll be counterproductive. Darker shades on the lid will minimise the space even more, so opt for a light shade to add some brightness. You could even use a shimmery shade here to emphasise the lid and pull it forward. Just make sure you only apply the shimmer to the lid and again not the hood. Now I'm just using my blending brush and sweeping it between the cranberry and the light lid shade just to make sure that they fade nicely together. Winged liner is a tricky one because it depends on how hooded your eyes are. If your eyes are very hooded, the liner is going to take up the majority of your lid space, so you may just end up seeing a darkness on the lid or just a wing on the outer part. You can still create a wing, of course. I would say if you do have some lid space, create your cat eye, but keep the liner as close to the lash line as possible so that you can still see some of the mobile lid. If you have little to no lid space, I would suggest perhaps tightlining the eyes instead. This gives definition to the lash line without closing up the eye, and that's what I'm doing now. I've picked up some black eyeshadow on this flat brush and I'm pressing this over the black liner to set it in place. Then I'm pushing some of the eyeshadow onto the lash line as well, just to add some definition to that area. I'm adding some more depth now and I'm taking a touch more of that black eyeshadow on my pencil brush and I'm smoking the black from the outer corner of the eye right up into the crease. For lashes, I would suggest going for a pair that are longer on the ends. These kiss lashes are ideal. The Ardell Demi Wispies will be perfect for this look either. I've gone for this type of style because again it feeds into the whole elongating the eyes, giving the illusion that they are larger and so on. The same applies now to the lower lash line. Keep the darkness to the outer third. This will focus the attention on the outer third of the eyes, making them appear larger, and also blending the eyeshadows downwards opposed to keeping them close to the lash line will add to that effect as well, and that's why I'm smoking the colours out a little more than usual. To finish off the look, I'm applying some mascara and putting emphasis on the corners, and then that's it. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and now that I think of it, this look would be perfect for close set eyes too, but of course anyone can wear it. You do you and just have fun with it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.